Well, it's the F Press outside Baker Street Station and the local pub. Sorry I couldn't do an update earlier. It all got a bit mad, and we had a committee meeting in the pub, and we had the TV people, etc. Anyway, the case management hearing of US vs Julian Assange. Great kerfuffle in the first part of the hearing. Julian was not on the video link initially, and Judge Barresa questioned the QC Fitzgerald for the defence, and he insisted that without instructions from his client or contact with his client, that he could not deal with any matters of substance at the hearing today. So she called an adjournment for half an hour, turned into an hour, and Fitzgerald was able to establish a video link with Julian to consult with his client. And when we returned to the court, Julian was indeed on the video link. And although I was in the public gallery part of the court, I did have my little spy thing to have a closer look. And Julian, I must say, was looking very tired. He had white hair, and he didn't seem 100% alert, as you would hope, with a sort of cream sweater and what I presume is his own clothes as a remand prisoner. He replied his name to Judge Barresa, and he fumbled a bit on his date of birth. Throughout the hearing, he made no further comment, had no communication with his counsel. I don't think he had the ability really to communicate, or was given the chance to speak to QC Fitzgerald during the hearing. And indeed, at the end of the hearing, Judge Barresa said that he was to return on the 14th of August for an early case management, not to conflict with a case at the Old Bailey in September. But she did not ask him if he understood what had gone on that day, and that raises suspicion of some shenanigans or something in terms of why she didn't. And she has a legal obligation to ask the person in the dock, as it were, on the video link, whether they had understood the proceedings. However, she set the 14th of August, and during the hearing, Fitzgerald raised a very pertinent point that these new requests that are due from the US prosecutors were more than likely in response to the failure of the legal arguments in the first request to extradite Julian Assange and the 18 charges that they allege he is culpable for, and definitely a problem there. The CPS were a total confusion. They hadn't received these new requests from the US. The defence hadn't, the court hadn't, and indeed Judge Barresa warned Fitzgerald not to comment on something that was not there before the court in evidence, as it were. Good on Fitzgerald, he ignored that, and he went on to explain why he had the fear that the original requests were going to be dropped and these new requests replacing would make he didn't say mockery, but I say it, of September the 7th deadline for the full trial. Indeed, Judge Barresa tried to obfuscate in a way by addressing Smith, the QC for the CPS, about what their belief was of the full trial submissions and arguments, would be meeting the deadline that they'd agreed. Smith from the CPS was pathetic. He mumbled something about the Americans hadn't told him anything. He was used a description of the US vs Julian Assange cases difficultly cryptic, he said, which I don't even know what that means. It seems to be the same word repeated twice, or the same meaning. So he was obviously in a state of utter confusion. It was a very sad thing to see the once competent lawyers reduced to mumbling. Judge Barrister was concerned that the submissions and deadline timetable was not being met, and any new American requests for a prosecution on different parts of the Espionage Act or other parts of Computer Intrusion Acts or any other charges could not be debated in the forum today because they didn't have it. So questions arose today about the Belmarsh incompetence this morning when they didn't produce the remand detainee, and seemed to be unaware that there was a court case this morning, and took over an hour to sort out access for the lawyer Fitzgerald, and for the court itself some hour or a half after it was due. So very difficult to discern any competence or plan of action really that has a basis in law or has a basis in the American law, let alone the UK jurisdiction. So we're seeing on the 14th of August for the next case management hearing. To be honest, I need to go through a list and work out what the submission deadlines are and what the deadlines for the new charges may appear. But to be honest, from what I can tell, the current management of the case by Judge Barrister is confusion reigns. The Americans are unsure of the legal grounds of which they're pursuing Julian Assange, and are trying to jump ship and jump on another one to get some new case notes, as it were. Guinea Press will be reporting on it 14th of August. We shall see if this show trial farce is discontinued due to the incompetence and the illegality of the claims not made just by the US Justice Department, but certainly by the CPS, the Crown Prosecution Service, the DPP, the Home Secretary, Priti Patel, and many others in the British establishment responsible for the kidnap, the torture, and the possible rendition of Julian Assange. EF Press, and have a quick drink.